Yeah. So who are you?
Right, well, I'm Don McAllister. I'm the owner of ScreencastsOnline and the host of ScreencastsOnline, which is a weekly video podcast which gives you weekly tutorials about the Mac and web services.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about it. What is your site like, and how many visitors do you have?
Right, okay. Well, I've been going now since August 2005, so it's been running for quite a while. Back in March of this year, 2006, I decided to try my hand at this full time because of the success I'd had with the free site. So I've now got about, I think it's roughly about 11 to 12,000 weekly subscribers, and they actually download the free version of the show every week. But I've also got over 1,000 paying subscribers as well because it is my full-time job. It actually is generating a revenue stream for me as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it's going. It's going very, very well at the moment, so it's great.
How did you get into this?
It's a bit of a long story, really, but I mean, I've only really been with the Mac for 2 years or so. I used to be a PC guy for a long time, and then I bought a Mac and it was sort of converted literally overnight, and evangelized about it and got some of my relatives involved as well, so they bought a Mac. But they live far away, so I couldn't really show them what to do, so I thought, well, how am I going to sort of teach them, because there wasn't really that much available for the Mac. So I did a couple of screencasts just for their family use. And it went down pretty well, and I thought, well, if they could make use of this, then other people could as well. And it was just at the time I was starting to get interested in podcasting as well, and I sort of put the two together and thought, well, I'll do a video podcast. In fact, it was one of the very first video podcasts, I think, that was available. You know, it's to say this is going back to August of last year.
Yep. Now, you don't do video the way I do with a camera.
That's right.
You actually take a picture, an image.
Yeah, that's right. It's all based on what's called screencasting. In fact, this is a first for me. I never normally get in front of the camera, so it is a first. Yeah, screencast is really, it's a high quality video capture of the action that's going on screen. Okay. So I will demonstrate or explain an application or a service, and then I'll follow it up with a commentary as well. So we take the video and we take the commentary and merge it together, and we have a video podcast, which it's an educational podcast, really, to show people how different things work and hang together.
Right. Now, what does your system look like at home? Do you use this system?
Well, this is my MacBook Pro. I've started to use this now as my sort of like recording machine, but at home I have a G5 tower, which I use for mainly editing. So I use this for recording and the G5 for editing. But I have an separate audio setup for my screencasts. I use. Well, I've just upgraded, actually. I've got some decent studio-type gear now. I've got an Onyx mixer, a Mackie Onyx mixer. I've got a Heil PR30 mic, which on a boom stand, so it's all nice and easy to use, and a compressor unit as well. Because I think, as well as having a high-quality video, the high-quality audio really matters, especially if you're expecting someone to concentrate on something for like between 20 or 30 minutes, which each show sort of works out about 20 or 30 minutes long. So I try and keep the audio, really top quality. You see some screencasts where the audio is very scratchy, but no, I try and have a really nice clean audio signal so that it's pleasant to listen to as well.
Yeah. So you have an expensive microphone, fairly expensive.
Fairly expensive. You don't really, if you're doing it just for sort of internally or just between friends or something, you don't really need it. But because some people are paying for this as well, I have very high production values, so I like to make sure that everything is just right. Yeah. And again, that goes for the video as well. I spend a lot of time in post-production editing. It's not like me sitting down for half an hour and just spieling on. I'll probably sit down for 2 or 3 hours and record it in stages and take the best bits and then edit them together. And then overlay it with graphics and overlay it with text and overlay it with links and things like that. So in the end, the show itself is quite a nicely produced half-an-hour package.
And as we found out with a microphone that died right now, audio is important.
That's right.
Without a decent microphone, you can't hear it. Tell me, how much did you spend on your whole setup?
No more than probably about £500 really on the audio side. Obviously the G5 and the MacBook I bought as sort of earlier on. But in fact you can do a screencast with any Mac. All the new Macs have built-in microphones, and even with the iSight camera as well, you can actually do a video of yourself and also screen captures as well, and then edit them together using iMovie or something similar.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Have you tried that technique at all, so that people can see you? Or?
No, I still sort of keep a fair distance away from appearing in front of the camera. In fact, the nearest thing I've got is I've just got Snaggy from The Joy of Tech. She does portraits, so I got a portrait of my head that I can stick on various places when people want to see me. So that's quite cool, actually. It was nice. So, but no, I tend to stay away from in front of the camera.
Right. what kinds of topics do you do?
It's very varied. The nice thing about it, because it's not one particular subject, it's not just Photoshop or Final Cut or anything, the world's my oyster. So it's really what I feel like doing that particular week. So I do things ranging from things you would expect, like the iLife suite or the different iLife applications, so iWeb, iPhoto, iDVD, iTunes. So there's the screencasts there that teach you through the basics of that. Things like iWork, so there's primers on Pages and Keynote. Some of the more common Mac applications, but I'm starting to look at some more web applications now, which is where PC users actually are starting to get involved in the ScreencastsOnline concept as well. I also get lots of PC users who are just wanting to know what the hell the fuss about the Mac is. So they come onto the site, they start watching some of these screencasts about the Mac. And in fact, I've had a few people write in and say, I was on the fence, I saw your screencasts, I'm a convert, and they've switched across to the Mac. So wow. That's a nice feeling, yeah.
Is Apple going to sponsor your show?
No. In fact, my wife keeps saying, why don't you get in touch with Apple? Get in touch with Apple. But no, it's...
Steve Jobs doesn't call me either.
No. Yeah, so it's very wide and very varied, which is a nice thing because people like. In fact, I have a bit of there's a forum as well. There's a Screencast Online forum, and I always put a post up at the end of the week just before the show is published, so that people can guess what it is this week. And we have a bit of fun, just people make guesses, and after about 4 or 5 attempts, I feed them some clues, and they realize what it is. So, so that's quite interesting.
And how many have you done again?
There's about 80 in total. There's about 80 screencasts. Yeah,
and a new one every week.
New one every week. Every Friday, normally I publish Friday or Saturday. Okay. So again, because it is a paid service, I can't really afford to not do one for 2 or 3 weeks because people, some people have paid to actually see the higher resolutions. Yeah, it's probably worth mentioning the membership scheme as well. What it is there is a free feed, so that anyone can join the free feed, and they get a low resolution version of the show. But if you become a ScreencastOnline member, you actually get access then to higher resolution versions of the show in high definition and enhanced definition, and also extra content as well. What I might do one week is I might, on the free show, do 20 minutes and then do an extra 10 minutes on the end that the members get. Or once every 4 weeks, I do a whole show just for the members. And then the free show gets like edited highlights. And if they want to become a member, they can get everything in the pack. Look, can I show you the different resolutions? Because it might be quite interesting for people. This is the website, and this is based on a package called RapidWeaver, which, again, there are lots of tutorials about RapidWeaver. RapidWeaver is a template-based web creation tool. So I eat my own dog food. I actually built my website using RapidWeaver. So there's all sorts of tutorials in there to show you how to get the best out of that. And if we go into the site, if you just click here to enter the site, you'll actually see all the most recent shows. So the last 6 months worth of shows are actually on this page on the site. So you can see here, configuring OS 10 mail to use hosted mail accounts, iWeb, file shoot. There's all sorts there, really. Down at the bottom, if you go to this section here, this shows you the different categories. So you see there's 14 different applications. There's 2 about blogging. There's 2 about Google because, again, with the prevalence of web-based services, I'm starting to look more at not just Mac-based applications, but web-based services as well. So I'm actually going to be doing a series over the next 6 months of all the really popular Google applications. I've already done one on Google Reader, and I've done one about Google Accounts.
Now, Google Reader, we know. I love that, and the best thing about it is the key commands. Can you show key commands?
Yeah, and to be honest, I've got you to blame for liking Google Reader because I didn't like it at first. I really didn't. But when you explain the key commands, I went in and did a bit more digging, and I'm hooked now. I used to use NetNewsWire, but I've gone over to Google Reader. Key commands, yeah, you can, because on the Mac you've got the international palette, I think it's called, which actually gives you a mini representation of the keyboard on screen. So I can actually tap away at the keyboard, and you can see the key depressions on the screen. Now, I only use that sparingly, to be honest, because most of it is GUI driven. But now I can do that as well. So there are a few screencasts with a little mini embedded keyboard in, so you can see what's going on. So it's quite good. Back to the resolutions. So there's lots of different categories, and if you click on these links, it takes you to a page. And again, if you're on the live site, this is an offline copy of the site. You can actually click on the watch video now, and you can see the videos on the website. You don't necessarily have to go to iTunes to download them all first. You can actually watch them live on the website itself. Okay. And they're all just normal QuickTime movies. There's no DRM on any of the files. So
you're not evil.
No, well, we'll probably talk about that a bit more when we get onto the full membership thing. But no, I've never really worried about that too much. I have a bit of a relationship with the audience, and no one's abused it as yet, so that's not a problem. Okay. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these different resolutions. So if we just go into iTunes, so you can get all the feeds from either iTunes or from democracy player, or really any aggregator that supports video. And you'll see here there are these premium feeds. So there's an ED feed that's for an enhanced desktop. And if we just, well, I'll tell you what, let's show the free feed first so you can get some comparison. This is the free feed. You see we've got all these episodes that you can just download from iTunes. But if we just look at the Google Part 1, right, I've actually started playing this already, so it started from the beginning. But you've got the on-screen navigation, so you can go through the whole show. And also we have a standard opening each time with some theme music. Actually, the theme music was actually written for me by one of the viewers, which was really kind of him, a guy called Michael over in, where is he? It'll come to me. I might have to cut that bit out. Oh, Denmark, yeah. The theme tune was actually written by a guy in Belgium. It was one of the viewers, and he actually just gave it to me. He said, here's a theme tune for you. So that was really kind of him. Yeah, really nice. So anyway, this is the free version. You'll see you get the occasional banner going across the bottom of the screen saying it's a free show, but it is the full show. You can actually understand it, and there's nothing cut out. It's at 640 by 360 resolution, and it will play on an iPod as well. So if you've got the free feed, you can actually sync all the videos with your iPod. So that's the free version. If you get a paid membership, let's go to the enhanced definition version, and we do the same show. You'll see it's much bigger. This is at 960 by 540. Again, we've got all the navigation controls within iTunes, and we can blow it up to full screen as well if we want. But the real nice version, that ED version is really for people with perhaps not the latest machines, because it might take a lot of horsepower to actually play the high definition version. So the high definition version, which is at 720p, which is 1280 by 720. Let's just get that going. There we go, that's a much bigger resolution. Oh, yeah. And this is really nice. You can actually play it on full screen. And it looks really nice. And also, if you've got a HD TV, you can put this on a HD TV and it'll look great as well. So you can actually, really looking forward to ITV, when ITV comes out next year. People will be able to watch the screencast on the plasma tellies, and it will be really, really nice quality.
All right, I have a media center set up to play through the Xbox, so I can watch this that way.
Oh, right, yeah. So they're the three resolutions. Now, to get the higher resolutions, you need to become a member. And the membership scheme, it's quite straightforward, really. There are two levels of membership, and this is how I generate most of my income, obviously, to make my living from the podcast. There's a standard membership, and that's $25, and that's a one payment of $25, and that gives you 6 months membership. So the next 6 months worth of shows, plus the last 6 months worth of shows in all the different resolutions that I've just shown you. So you get like 12 months worth of shows for $25. If you become a premium member, you get the entire back catalogue, plus 6 months worth, so you get the full 80 screencasts. Now, some people might say, well, I've only got a slow broadband connection, or God forbid, a dial-up connection, so it's not really going to benefit me. Well, what I do is I include as part of that a set of DVDs, so you can have all the shows, all the resolutions on DVD sent to your house as part of the subscription. So that's $35, and I say that's a one-off payment for the 6 months. It's not every month; it's just a $35 payment. Yeah. When it comes to renewal time, it's about $25 just to renew. So it's a really good value. In fact, I'm probably going to change it in the new year, because I think probably at the moment I'm probably underselling it. So, it's going well. As I say, there's over about we've just gone over 1,000 members in the past 3 weeks or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're fully paid up members, and I'm getting great emails from people saying how much they really enjoy the service. It's good.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How do you do this? What does it look like on the screen?
Right. Well, it can be a very simple process. Basically, all you need to do is get a package to capture the video and the audio at the same time. Now, up to last week, I was using a package called Snaps Pro X by Ambrosia Software, but they haven't quite got their act together with an Intel-based version. They've got an Intel-compatible version, right, but they haven't got a universal binary yet. So I'm starting to use another package now called iShowU. I'll show you if you'd like to.
I will. How do you like it?
It's good. The main difference for me really is in the production time, because it literally taken me 2 to 3 days to put a show together because of all the editing and the post-production. That's going to take some time, but the recording as well. With Snaps Pro X, it used to take a half-hour show might take 3 to 4 hours to record. One, because I do like to go back and re-edit stuff sort of as we're recording. but also the render time for it to write out the files to disk took an awful long time, at least the same time again as it took to record to write it out to disk. But with iShowU, it seems to do it instantly. I don't know how he does it, but it's literally, as soon as you hit the stop record button, the file is there, ready and waiting for you. So it cuts down the recording time tremendously. And I think it's only about $29 as well or something. It's a very low-cost application. I think it's Shiny White Box who's the vendor. It's a single guy, single Mac developer, so good luck to him with that one. But I'll give you a quick demo if you want. You can sort of, let's just get rid of iTunes. We'll leave that on screen, because what I'll do is I'll bring iShowU up. I've got it minimized down here. Here we go. It's, you can record it in all different qualities. I've got a special sort of setup that I use, which is the 1280 by 720. You can set up the recording area, so you can see this, this area here is what's going to be captured from the screen.
Now, why don't you do it at full size?
Normally I do. Normally what I do is to set the screen resolution to 1280 by 720 and then capture the top portion of the screen. But just for this demo, it's just easier so you can see what's going on around.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one little tip really. If you want to record full screen, just set the resolution of your monitor. Right when we're ready to record, well, we can just hit a couple of keystrokes, or we just click the record button, and you'll see that. In fact, let me just make this window a bit smaller. You can see there's this black border.
Oh, yeah.
So this shows us that we're now recording. So if I just move that around there, scroll down a bit, click on another entry.
So you're recording live right now?
This is actually recording the screen, and it's also recording the audio off the inbuilt microphone. Now I use a separate audio system, but you can use the built-in microphone in the MacBook as well if you want. Okay, so that's let's say that's enough, and we'll just say terminate. All right. There we go. Yeah, and there we go. There's the actual file itself.
Okay.
And you can see it started to play it for us. So this is where I move the. There we go. I just move that around the screen.
Yeah.
So there's our movie file, and that's just captured in a folder on the Mac as a movie file that we can now go ahead and edit. What I do, you don't necessarily have to use a heavyweight package like Final Cut Pro, but I use Final Cut Pro for all my editing. You can use Final Cut Express. You can even use iMovie as well if you want. As long as you get the resolution matched up with the screen capture that you're doing, you can use iMovie. But for Final Cut Pro, it's, again, if we just get that up. This is some of the stuff I did before. You have a timeline down here at the bottom, which shows you the movie files. If I just get Finder up, let's see. There's the...
Do you have a screencast for Final Cut Pro?
No, not as yet. Not as yet.
Oh,
well, I give all my secrets away.
Well, I would subscribe to that.
Oh, well,
I need to learn how to edit.
Well, I might do a special one there. I mean, to be honest, Final Cut is a professional movie making machine. It's really. I use probably 5% of the facility, if that. I'll show you some of the things I do to make it look nice. But all we need to do is if we grab that's the movie that we've just captured. I just drag that and drop it into Final Cut Pro, so you see, and then I'll just drag it across the timeline, and then just drop it on the timeline. So there we are. So there's the. You can see if I scrub it across the timeline, you'll see the movie at the top here. This is what we've just recorded. The little red bar means that the audio needs rendering, but it's just a key press to do that. It's really quick to do that little bit. There we go. It's writing the audio away. And what we can do then is we can say if we want to chop it, we can hit B. I need to link these. Let's chop that bit out. That was a mistake. I can just delete that.
How are you chopping? Just hitting by B?
That's just hitting the B key as a blade. I've got a different keyboard at home, which is really useful, which has all the different key presses color-coded. It's a Final Cut keyboard. It's the same as a Mac keyboard, but all the keys are color-coded.
Get one of those.
It's great. I'll give you the link. It's not expensive either. It's just a standard USB keyboard, but it's a lot easier. That's why I'm a little bit. I never edit on the MacBook Pro itself. And then if we want to, then put something nice in. If we just highlight there and go to Effects, Video Transitions, I sometimes like to put a page peel in. So just click on Page Peel, and you'll see there we have our page peel effect. So as I go from one scene to the next, you get a page turning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can just play it and you'll see it in real time. There we go.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then on top of this, I put graphics, I put text links, just tidy it up really nicely.
See, if I did editing, I could do something like that.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. It's very, very easy, very, very easy. And then once I've done it in Final Cut Pro, I export the audio out separately, and then I process the audio as well, just to get the levels balanced, to get normalize it. Bring it back to Final Cut, then export it, and I'd create 5 different versions of the show in the 5 different resolutions. So there's the 3 for the extra members and 2 for the free feed. And then I use Feeder. Have you heard of Feeder? Feeder is a really cool RSS publication tool. Nobody's set up multiple RSS feeds and sort of manually manage where you put them and when you publish them and things. I mean, it's a really good tool.
Do you have separate RSS feeds then for each resolution?
Yes, separate, completely separate feeds for the members, and they're in a secure area as well. So you need a username and password to access those feeds, which you get obviously when you get your membership sorted out. And then, in fact, there's 3 different sets of feeds for members depending on when you joined, because I've sort of changed things. It's all seamless to the end user, but it's quite a complex management exercise each time I publish at the moment. And then I publish to the website using RapidWeaver, and that's it. It's out there for another week, and then I move on to the next one. So it's good.
Very cool. Well, thanks for spending a little bit of time with me, showing me what you're doing. Do we have anything else? Oh, we do have something else.
Right. The only thing I was going to mention is obviously this is there aren't that many other podcasters doing what I'm doing, which is sort of giving up the day job. And this has been a way for me to monetize sort of what I enjoy to do. The tools are there to do it, but it's very difficult to pull them all together. And what I've decided to do is next year I'll be putting together a special package for podcasters that will enable them to monetize their podcasts. Now, it's not how to make a podcast, because everyone should know by now how to make a podcast. You might already have a podcast, so it's not really how you put a podcast together. It's what you do if you have a podcast and you want to create a subscription podcast. Okay. So you want to create a membership. You want to develop a mailing list. You want to integrate a shopping cart with your website. So it's going to be a soup to nuts. You've got a podcast, you've got an audience, and you've got a content, but you want to develop the engine to tie it all together. So what I'll be doing, probably, I'm starting it now. The website isn't there yet, but what I'll do is by the time this goes out, there'll be a website where people can just register an interest. And I'll put a blog up there as well to let people know how I'm getting on with the progress. But if people want to have a look at that, it'll be buildasubscriptionpodcast.com. Or baspodcast.com.
I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, check it out. As I say, there's not a lot of...
do HD versions of my tapes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the nice thing is with podcasts, though, is, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be an audio podcast or a video podcast. It can be ebooks, it can be PDFs, it can be graphics. As long as you've got the content and you think you have an audience. And it's not one of these sort of get-rich schemes or anything. You know, it's purely giving you the tools on how you can tie everything together, sort of integration with PayPal, how you set up a PayPal account, how you... See, at the moment, when I first started off, I did everything manually, and it was a nightmare. And I've found the tools, and I've integrated them together for ScreencastsOnline. Wow. So I'm going to share that with people now. So it will be, a user will click on your website, they'll be given a username and password, they'll be taken over to PayPal, they can pay in PayPal, they can create a recurring subscription, everything's automated.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it should be really nice. And I say, it's all out there now. You could do it tomorrow if you wanted to, but it's just finding the bits and tying them together. And I've done that with ScreencastsOnline, so I want to share that with people as well. Saying that, it is my living, so I will be charging for it, but it's not going to be megabucks. But I'm really excited about that. I think hopefully it'll change. It sounds a bit cliche, but it could change people's lives, because it's certainly changed mine, doing the podcast.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. And,
no problem.
Thanks for giving us a little look into what your life was like.
Anytime. Well, check out the site. You see, there's you've got 80 screencasts to catch up on. So, and then they're coming out one a week as well. So, the nice thing is, though, you don't have to catch up on them all. You can just cherry pick. In fact, some people say a lot of the things they don't even want, they're not interested in, but they still watch them anyway and get a few things out of them. So, yeah, it's cool.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem, Robert. Thanks for having us.